Our Lady, Help of Christians, Auxilium Christianorum, 1815, Pope Pius VII, Rome. The lesson is taken from the sermons of Saint Bernard, Abbot of Clairvaux. Dearly beloved brethren, one man and one woman have much harmed us, but, thanks be to God, by one man and one woman, all hath been restored unto us, and that, not without a plentiful increase of graces. Verily, Christ is enough, and verily our sufficiency is of him. But for us, it is not good that the man should be alone. It was more meet that a woman as well as a man should appear in the matter of our redemption. And thus the woman, blessed among women, is not seen idle, but a place is found for her in the work of reconciliation. We must needs have a medium between us and the mediator Christ, neither could we have one more useful than Mary. Eve was a cruel medium, through which the venomous serpent infected her husband with its poison, but Mary is a trustworthy medium, which offereth a healthful antidote for that poison both to men and to women. The one ministered to the work of seduction, the other to that of the atonement. The one smuggled in the fall, the other brought in the redemption. Why should weak man tremble to come to Mary? There is nothing stem, nothing dreadful about her. She is all sweetness, offering, to all, milk and wool. Consider well the whole course of the gospel history, and if thou find in Mary any such thing as harshness, or hardness, and even the least sign of loss of temper, trust her not again, and fear to come unto her. But if thou find her to be altogether as indeed she is, full of a mother's tenderness and grace, full of gentleness and mercy, give thanks unto him who, in the vast abundance of his goodness, hath given thee such a spokeswoman in whom thou canst not but trust. In fine, through the boundlessness of her charity she hath made herself all things to all men, a debtor both to the wise and to the unwise. She opened to all the bosom of her mercy, that of her fullness all may receive. The captive, ransom; the sick, health; the sorrowful, comfort; the sinful, pardon; the righteous, grace; even angels, gladness. She is not one who inquireth what we have deserved, but is to all most easy to be entreated and most merciful. In the wideness of her love she hath pity upon the needs of all. She is the woman of whom God promised of old time that she should bruise with her foot of power the head of the old serpent. For her heel he lay in wait, but vainly. For she by herself hath crushed the depravity of every heresy. They that lay in wait for her have been crushed, they that assailed her have been trampled down, they that maligned her have been silenced, and all generations called her blessed. If by the moon we are to understand the Church, we have her office of advocate clearly set forth, where it is said, a woman clothed with the sun, and the moon under her feet. Let us embrace the blessed feet of Mary, casting ourselves down in most earnest entreaty before her. Let us take hold upon her, and not let her go until she bless us, for she is able. Christendom hath oftentimes had marvelous experience how present and help is the Mother of God for scattering her foes. Thus it was that the most holy Pope Pius V, after the famous victory which the Christians gained over the Sultan of Turkey in the Battle of Lepanto, ordered that in the Litany of Loreto this Queen of Heaven should be styled, among other titles, Help of Christians. But one of the most remarkable and indeed truly miraculous instances was that of Pius VII, Bishop of Rome. He was dragged from his apostolic see by the plots and arms of wicked men, and for 5 years was kept in close confinement, mainly at Savona, being almost utterly cut off from all means whereby he could govern the Church, a feature without a precedent in any previous persecution. When it was least expected, he was replaced upon the papal throne, with universal approbation, and as it were by the hands of the whole world. The same thing happened to him a second time, when another storm arose, and he left the city and went in company with the Sacred College of Cardinals to the Riviera. Then, by an outpouring of God's mercy, the storm, which had threatened darkly, ceased, and he returned to Rome amid fresh rejoicing of the nations. But before leaving the north of Italy he carried out an old intention which his captivity had prevented him from realizing, and, amid solemn pomp, placed with his own hands a crown of gold upon the famous image at Savona which depicts the Mother of God under the title of Mother of Mercy. The wonderful turns in his affairs the same Pope Pius VII, having had personal experience of everything, ascribed to the intercession of the most holy Mother of God, whose mighty aid he had himself unceasingly implored, and had urged all Christ's faithful people to implore. He therefore appointed a solemn feast to be kept forever in honor of the Virgin Mother, styled Help of Christians, upon the 24th day of May, being that of his own happy return to the city of Rome, and he approved for this occasion a special office that the memorial, as well as the thanksgiving for such great mercies, might remain in all time distinct. Amen. The lesson is taken from the Holy Gospel according to St. Luke. At that time, as Jesus spake unto the multitudes, a certain woman of the company lifted up her voice and said unto him, Blessed the womb that bare thee. And so on. Homily by St. Bernard, Abbot of Clairvaux. Consider, O man, the counsel of God. Recognize its wisdom and its goodness. He who was about to water the whole floor with dew from heaven, began by drenching the fleece. He who was about to redeem all mankind, poured the price of redemption upon Mary. Consider deeper with what feelings he hath willed that we should honor Mary, he who hath given unto her a fullness of all good. So that if we have any hope, any grace, any salvation, we know that it runneth over from her abundance, who goeth up, overflowing with delights. With all our hearts, then, with all our deepest affections and longings, let us honor Mary, since this is the will of him who hath been pleased that it should be through Mary that we should have all things. I say that such is his will for our sakes. God doth in all things anticipate our needs, cheer our terrors, rouse our faith, nerve our hope, put away our fears, strengthen our cowardice. Thou art awestruck even by hearing the voice of the Father. Thou art ashamed to approach him, and wouldst fain hide thyself among the trees of the garden. Lo, he hath given thee Jesus for a mediator who will be heard on account of his reverent submission, for the Father loveth the Son. But perchance thou shrinkest before the divine majesty in him also, since albeit he be made man, he remaineth still God. Wouldst thou have an advocate with him likewise? Have recourse to Mary. There is nothing in Mary but pure humanity, pure, not only in the sense of being free from any kind of contamination, but in that of being pure and simple human nature and nothing more. And I have no hesitation in saying that she also will be heard on account of her reverent submission. The Son will indeed hear the Mother, and the Father will hear the Son. My little children, this is the sinner's ladder to heaven, this is my chiefest trust, this is the whole reason of the hope that is in me. For why? Can her Son thrust her away, or endure that she should be thrust away? Can he either not hear, or not himself be heard? Plainly he cannot. The angel giveth her this joyful assurance, Thou hast found grace with God. She will always find grace with God, and grace is all that we need, since by grace are we saved. What else do we want, my brethren? Let us seek grace, and let us seek it through Mary, for he that seeketh, findeth, and cannot be disappointed of his hope. Let us seek grace, but let it be grace with God, for among men, favor is deceitful. Let others seek for merits, but let us seek to find grace. For why? Is it not the work of grace that we are here? Of a truth, it is of the Lord's mercies that we are not consumed. Amen. Benedicat vos omnipotens Deus, Pater, et Filius, et Spiritus Sanctus. Amen.